Hello, everyone. It's your girl, DebraSue, Glass City Town 419, in the studio with Toledo to the world. Today, we have a very, very special guest. I'm pleased to say he's not only one of our community leaders, he's a friend of mine. I'm so happy to have him in the seat. We all know him. We all love him. He is a leader. He is a legend. He is a worker. And I am welcoming Reggie Williams to Toledo to the world with DebraSue. Welcome, Reggie Williams.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I appreciate the accolades and also the opportunity to be on your show, Toledo to the World. And this is gratifying and humbling, I might say.
Well, listen, you know what? I have nothing but high praises for you, Reggie. I have known you for quite a while, at least 10 years. And I can remember way back when I started Glass City Talent almost a decade and a half ago. You were there with open arms to welcome whatever we wanted to do for the community, and I never had any issues whatsoever. I remember all those things you did for Glass City Talent and Deborah Sue, and I want to say that out loud. And so that's the reason why I have you on today. I want to, first off, the very first thing I want to talk about, Reggie, because you go way back with the world of nonprofits. Let's talk about how that evolved for you. Has it always been a purpose of yours to work for the community or to work in nonprofits? How did that come about?
So I'm going to give you absolutely not. I worked in the factories. I was working at Pilkington, formerly known as Libby Owens Ford in Rossford.
Hmm.
And I was a glass technician, and I worked there for 10 years. And my day off, I popped two discs in my back,
Oh.
and one ended up rupturing.
Hmm.
And this was in September of 2009.
Okay.
In 2010 of March, I had back surgery, and my back surgery was 8 hours. And I have a L4, L5, S1 fusion. So I
Mm.
have six screws and two rods in my back.
Wow.
After my surgery, I was told that I was never going to be able to walk again.
Mm.
And I said the devil is a lie, right?
Yes.
And it took me 3 years. It took me 3 years to learn how to walk, and
Hmm.
I went from the wheelchair to the walker to the cane to my own 2 feet. And so with that, I had to get on disability, and that changed my livelihood drastically,
Mm.
and I had to go through William Gallon and Tackus to get disability. And so
Okay.
it took me 3 years to get that. And finally, just trying to get my health, get my strength, just pretty much learning how to do things a little differently. I was sitting at home feeling blue
Hmm.
and felt like, I have nothing to offer.
Mm.
All I knew was being in the factory, driving fork trucks, working with glass as a glass technician. And so Alicia Smith was on the board at the Douglas Center, and she was coming off. And she said to me, why don't you put your name in on the board? And so I did just that, submitted my resume, and they voted. And I became a board member in 2014
Wow.
of, I want to say April of 2014. And I was a general board member. And so I would come to monthly board meetings, and that was it. Every once a month I'll show up, and just trying to understand what the nonprofit was all about, because I never experienced being in a nonprofit, nor have I ever sat on the board.
Hmm.
And so just trying to learn as much as I could. And there was just a lot of dysfunction,
Hmm.
I can truly say. And at that time, Sonia Harper Williams was the executive director. And sometime in, well, let me state this, that in August of 2014, I was pulling in the parking lot at the Frederick Douglass Center, and
Okay.
clear as day, um, I heard the Most High God say to me, "You're going to be the next president." And
Wow.
as I'm putting it in park, I crack up laughing. And I said, "Yeah, right." So my relationship with the Father is crazy. It's humorous. It's spontaneously just intimate, you know. And
Sure.
so just to say, "Yeah, right," to Father Yah, I'm like, "Yeah, I did that." And I tell you what, October of 2014, we're sitting at the board meeting, um, and what comes out is the information about Sonia Harper Williams misappropriating funds of the Frederick Douglass Community Association.
Okay.
The board ended up going through a egregious face of challenges and basically removed her, and half the board resigned.
Mm.
All the officers, lay members, that's general board members, and we had a skeleton crew of board members left. And we're sitting at the table, and the question came up, who's going to be our next president? And so Kevin had dad, he was on the board at the time, and he was running for county commissioner, I do believe. And he said, "I'll do it." And I said, "No, Kevin, I'll do it." And it was like a shotgun going off in my head, because then what was spoken to me was coming to pass. And I was paused and I was like, "Oh my God, this is happening." And we ended up voting for me to be the president. Now, just mind you, I was just on since April. So you got May, June, July, August, September, April. So 6 months of being on the board, I become the president of the
Yeah.
Frederick Douglass Center.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know how a nonprofit operate. I didn't know what keys open what door. I didn't know the amount of debt that we had. And upon taking it over, we didn't have any directors or officers insurance. We didn't have insurance on the building.
Mm.
We were behind in payroll taxes, federal taxes. We hadn't had any 990s done, no audits done. And so it's just a heap of things that just was not taken care of. And so for
Mm-hmm.
me, I said, well, I need to know what to do. And so it's just
Mm-hmm.
calling upon individuals of what to do. So at this time, I'm a no name, right? I'm new to the scene of nonprofit. And basically, I would come to meetings and I would show up and say, "Hey, I'm Reggie Williams, the new board president at the Frederick Douglass Center." And they, "Who are you?" And, I'm getting side looks and, um, and so I had to learn how to navigate these channels of waters.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I discovered that there were meetings before the meetings. And so there was just a lot of things I had to learn and grow through. And then there was a lot of opposition, quite honestly, to close the Frederick Douglass Center. And
Okay.
so we lost programs, we lost tenants, we didn't have funds to really to keep the doors open, quite honestly. The Doug was
Mm-hmm.
on life support with their hand on the plug, so to speak.
Sure. Sure. I
And
remember
I
those
felt,
days.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was doing CPR, and I didn't have, when you do CPR, you're supposed to have a partner to give you a break to
Right.
continue to do the heart resuscitation. So
Mm-hmm.
here I am pumping, pumping. I'm like, I got it. And we're gonna make it happen. And I just felt that one, if God called me and I understood the assignment, knowing that, okay, I'm the president. Okay, what does the president do? um, Understanding all the neglect that the Doug had, I said I want to change the face, but then also the management of the Frederick Douglass Center, saying it's under new management, but also putting it in a proper sustainable standing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had individuals, because at that time it was blood and shark infested waters, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that the Doug was open season and there was no parameters, framework to keep it protected. So it was just an at will. Everybody just come on over and, do what you want to do, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But learning from individuals that coached me, mentored me, really understood that I had a passion in my heart was for community. That took time to grow, but then there was no vision, and it was just man. You talk to my wife. I was at the Doug for hours. I mean, I remember one time I came home. It was 1 a.m. in the morning because
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for information and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to go through files and I'm digging and I got the table full of papers and I got keys and then I was just Inspector Gadget. I'm just Sherlock Holmes. I'm Sherlock
Well,
Holmes
you
in
know
here.
what? You jumped right into it because I'm going to tell you something. For a guy that injured himself, came from a productive job, got injured, had to get on disability, never ran or even thought about hopping into the nonprofit world, and you basically hopped in, and within a matter of time, you're running a board, and so not only were you just running a board, you came in on some under some pretty pressured a pretty pressured situation, right?
Absolutely.
So that's intimidating as itself. And then now I sit on 5 boards, and I will tell you it is a lot of work to know what the mandates are, what the visions are, what the policies are. And here you are with not a stitch of experience. And you got the provisions that you need. And I remember one time I told you before, I was very impressed with one of the things I heard you say on your live, where you said God doesn't give you the vision without the provision.
Without the
So
program.
apparently you had people step forward, and whether they understood they were being utilized or not, that was a big thing. And then you just kind of took off from there.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
The power of prayer is real. If anybody would like to see an example of that, just go back and just remind yourself of the Frederick Douglass Center and where it started to where it ended up
Mhm.
prior to my exit. In that, I would say that there are people in our community that love our community. We have
Yes.
some fabulous leaders. We have some great mentors. We have some fabulous teachers. We have some great other nonprofits to partner and collaborate with. And I wanted to make sure that we put our best foot forward by walking with integrity because all I have is my name.
That's
That's
right.
all I have. That's all I have is my name. And so I would tell our youth, I ran an in-school suspension program under Keith Jordan, JLJ, and I did the in-school suspension program simultaneously as becoming the board president of the Frederick Douglass Center. So I'm working in TPS. I started out at Sherman Elementary. From there, I went to Leverett, and then I went back to Sherman, and then I went to Chase, and then from Chase, I went to Raymer. And from Raymer, I went to Kaiser. And from Kaiser, I went to Spring. And from Spring, I went to DeVoe. And then COVID
Gracious.
hit. So
Yeah.
I was in all our school feeder patterns. And I would tell our youth that it is relatively important to understand that you have what it takes. And with prayer and with being a light to our young people, I want to make sure that they seen a positive man of color that care about them earnestly, intently, and to let them know that you ain't gonna be running things as you think you're gonna run things.
Mhm.
I'm gonna let you know it through correction, nurturing, and with a strong voice to say that come on, let's think of
Mhm.
something different. So doing that, with JLJ, it allowed me to one connect with youth, and then being the president at the Doug was just like, okay, now we need to bring some programs in. right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just the connectivity with individuals. And then, like I said, with the nonprofits, there's just array of different things that I started to learn. One, I ended up getting some tools. I went through the Center of Nonprofit and went through some of their courses for the minority executive leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And then also small nonprofits. I got my certifications through that. I just got involved and start advocating for our community. You know,
Mm-hmm.
one thing that really set it off was the George Floyd circumstances, to where it affected me deeply. You know,
Mm-hmm.
seeing that, it just allowed me to just say, you know what, damn if I do, damn if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about when we want to speak to something. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Open your mouth. They killing us. So I might as well say something. If you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
kill me, I might as well open my mouth.
Yeah, and you and literally, I can testify you have been outspoken with your messages. When you see something and something
Say
needs to be
something
done, you
and then
step
do
forward and you
something.
do it. Yeah, because you
Yes,
just
right.
did it just recently with the church that had the doors taken off. Let's talk about that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm driving my son to school every day. And so I just noticed something that just looked, this ain't right. So I took my son to school. I say on my way back, I'm going to stop. So I drive back. I kept going. I went home. I told my wife, I said, babe, the doors to the church is removed. And I kid you not, the Holy Spirit put me in a headlock. It would not leave me alone. It was
Mm-hmm.
like, you go back over there to that church like you said you was gonna do. So I had to ask my wife, you want to come with me? She was like, no, baby, you go ahead on. So I went back over there, and as I'm walking up the stairs, I, said, let me go on my Facebook Live, right? I need to share this. And so the neighbor across the street, she's the cross guard. And so she said, don't you go in there by yourself. I said, watch out for me. If you see anybody walking, just yell, holler, and I'll just try to be careful as much as possible. I said, but I
Sure.
got my live on, so I have some evidence or whatever. So I get up to the doors, and I noticed that the doors were off the hinges.
Mm-hmm.
They were not on the ground, laying in the floor. They were removed from the premises. As I go through the church, beautiful edifice,
Mm-hmm.
great, beautiful, but it's just been sitting. And there's a lot of squatters that's been in there. And
Sure.
as you've seen in the video, they were doing graffiti. There was just a disarray of different things. And then just with weather, all the wood buckling, plaster falling. But you're talking about a beautiful, beautiful church.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Something is in there, meaning it has a spark. There's a heartbeat. There's something there that needs to be discovered, and it attached itself to me. So every time I drive past there, every day, I feel a tug, I feel a pull, and I'm like, there's life.
Mm-hmm.
There's life there. So just wanting to see about. Well, I'm with Reinvest Toledo.
Okay.
And when this happened, of investigating the church, me and my wife, a couple weeks later, we put together a cleanup. It's called the UJIMA cleanup, and that's one of the Kwanzaa principles, meaning collective work and responsibility. And we had a great response from community. We ended up cleaning the exterior. There was a lot of hidden spaces, because Robinson School is around the corner. There's a
Yeah.
senior living facility adjacent to Robinson School, and then there's a church where
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Bass pastor right there on the corner, Monroe and Lawrence. And so I
Mm-hmm.
said, for adults and children to be walking past, they're sex offenders. Toledo is known as a sex trafficking hub.
Mm-hmm.
75 and 80, 90 in 4 hours, you can be
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. And
Right.
so we just said, let's clean this up. And so we took care of all the brush, the overgrown
Yeah.
vegetation.
And that was just within a matter of a weekend. I was so
Yes.
surprised at how you were able to pull that together, which which I also want to, I asked about that for a reason, because you actually put together a collaboration. You put the call out and people came. One of the things that we have that many folks complain about in the city of Toledo is that we don't collaborate. We don't
Mhm.
collaborate with each other. And yet, and still, you had enough people show up who donated supplies, who fellas came over and were cutting board, they were cutting down brush, and even the city of Toledo came out and they helped clean up. So, what what do you feel it takes for the city to put together that a collective effort for us to target some of the issues that we want to solve? Because we have over 1,000 nonprofits in Toledo, well above 1,000 in fact. And it's fragmented, and I think a lot of it is because everybody's fighting over the funding, or it's a competitive thing. I don't want to say fighting, but a competitive thing. What,
Mhm.
Reggie, do you think is going to take for this city to get together and to collaborate on issues? As you know, we just had another teenage death. I think we just had one yesterday involving tennis shoes, but prior to that we had the Kamani case. What is your take on that?
So that's a very great question. Again, to go into prayer about this for weeks now, it's just been incumbent and impressed upon my heart that we need to tear down the silos, first of all. We operate in silos in the city of Toledo for some of us, not all of us, but for some of us. And it is something that I've witnessed operating out of the Frederick Douglass Center, and that some of us are territorial, right? And some of us are basically looking for opportunities to really link up with truth, with integrity, and with
Hmm.
respect. And I think it would take for us to, one, we need to mend leadership, right? We
Hmm.
may have had aughts with our brothers and sisters in the past, whether it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever the case may be. I think we need to come to the table where we can practice restorative justice, and mend and heal and say, you know what, our youth are watching us. We tell them that they need to get together, they need to mend, have restorative justice practice, they need to fix it and build their relationship back up. Well, if we as adults don't do that, we're the example. So I think we got to start there first by coming to the table for all those who want to be a part of what I would like to see happen is to do an all call to anybody who want to participate, right?
Hmm.
To be at the table to first of all, let's be solution based. We know the problems. We already know what the problem. Let's be solution based. I think we got
Hmm.
some great individuals, organizations that have some great ideas that are doing the work, right?
Hmm.
They are actually doing the work. Let's uh, take this time to really push ourselves to do something that we have. I don't want to say never done before, but to
Hmm.
reactivate what we used to do. You know, it takes the village model that will allow us to be the solution to what we need to do in today's time. And so I think that I'm all in, and whoever else would like to be a part of that, let's set up a time to where we can do this. I think we need to be looking at those who have may been incarcerated, right?
Hmm.
That have gotten out, that have understood the calamity of what it and the devastation of what imprisonment does to individuals, male or female.
Hmm.
Uh, all called to them as well, because you understood and you understand what it was like to and sit behind bars, or to be able to see your family through a screen, or have visitation and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what that's like,
Right.
but but we need those individuals to be a part of this. I don't want to count
So how
nobody
would
out.
you suggest implementing that, Reggie? Because we kind of had something like that in the city, with some of the folks that worked under particular mayors, and they had the the distract, the what do they call them? I can't they Violence detractors or something like that. I mean, so would
Oh, you
you
saying violent
suggesting that
interrupter?
violent interrupters? Yeah. How do we implement that without having so many restrictions on their back? I mean, from my understanding, I think we still do have an organization of young men period that have been in the system, penal system, and have come out and they're doing some mentoring. You just don't hear about it,
Hmm.
right? You don't hear about it. So how do we get that out there? How do we engage with people who are, trying to stop this violence in the neighborhoods amongst neighbors, but in neighborhoods, but young people in particular?
Yeah, so there's organizations like Save Our City, Save Our Community, under the direction of Malcolm Cunningham. For instance, we have persons like Avis Files, Big Brothers United, I'm sorry, and Sisters United. We have Sean Mahone, who is doing some women of men and women of change, and they're in the trenches.
Hmm.
And then we have local churches, certain pastors that are in the trenches as well, right? So I think it's a combination of all those different components of persons who are doing in the schools, our neighbors. We have Uncle Junebug and Miss Mildred, those who have influence, that have recognition and respect as elders in our community. So I think it's the village that needs to come to the table. Honestly, that I think for me, it's about standing in truth. I think it's about having the integrity. We do have, individuals that have passed, but a lot of times, we bring stuff up from the past and we've made amends to that, or we have served our time and done our retribution as far as that is concerned.
Hmm.
But finally, because of what we're seeing from the federal government, it's making us uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And I look at it in a positive aspect. So hear me out. Yes, there are some things that are happening in our country, and people of color, it is forcing us, and they have told us, segregation is alive and well. It's back. They put it back on the forefront. We don't want you. We don't want your business. We don't want your dollars. Okay, that's fine. Now we know where you stand. Now it's up to us. Listen, it's time to wake up and come together and finally unite, unity in our community. And we can really do this thing. I truly, truly believe it. It's not for everybody,
Right.
right? And I get that. However, for us to have so many nonprofits in our community, for us to have so many faith-based organizations, for us to have so many um, LLCs and persons of entrepreneurship just doing different things, it's going to take collective work. That Ujima, it's going to take Ujima, which is the principle of our ancestors, to be able to say, you know what, we got to go back and get it, which is Sankofa. Uh, if we do that and follow principles, if we can develop to where we mend first and heal and move forward. Let's get the stuff up underneath the carpet, which we keep tripping over all the time. Let's expose that. Let's look at it. Let's identify it. Let's acknowledge it. But then let's put it where it needs to be.
So
Right.
it's going to take some work, but now, I have gone to many meetings, whether it's the Black empowerment meetings, the women's support meetings, the Rebuild Black Wall Street, what have you, and they're all doing wonderful work. Don't get me, they are doing wonderful work. But who lights that fire to get that glue to melt? Because literally we all have to come together. We're doing great work individually, but we need to do this thing collectively. Is that what you plan on doing at the Friendly Center? Because let's talk about that now, because you've moved on to the Friendly Center, in the Vistula area. You're doing some wonderful things over there. You got some programming coming. Will the unification of the powers that be an aim of yours? Is that something that you plan on doing?
Yes, I think that will be my first point of engagement. Is now that I'm and for all those who are tuning in, I'm no longer at the Frederick Douglass Center as the executive director. I have been removed from that position in of November of 2024. And here I am 5 weeks into my new tenure of being the program director at the Friendly Center. It's a fresh start. I feel very positive about what we can do. I think the initiative is to definitely talk about what does true collaboration and true partnership look like, and spearheading that. And I think that because I think, and I'm not tooting my horn and I'm not patting myself on the back, but I think because I walk the walk, I talk the talk, I've done it. I just want to make sure that we have one shot at saying, let's finally, Toledo, our communities, whether you're from the North End, South Side, East Side, West Side, Central City, let's finally put our best foot forward and see what we really can do to impact and flip this topsy turvy, get into topsy. Let's do this thing to where we're actually bringing the right people with the right intention. I ain't talking about no photo ops. I can care less about that. I don't care about being the face. I don't care about that either. All I care about is the work getting done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I can have some movement and putting some push or to put my hand to the plow, so to speak, and say, or be the drum major of this thing, I'm willing to do so because it's
Mm-hmm.
bigger than us, you know.
It
Uh,
is bigger than us, and I've asked this question of people before. Why are you hesitant? Why are you hesitant? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of retaliation? Are you afraid of losing face? What is it that prevents people from saying, I'm opposed to that. We've got to do something about this right now. So let's go and get Reggie Williams. Let's go get Sean Mahone. Let's go get, some of the other power leaders in the city instead of, us having to get on programs like mine, and we speak individually of situation. Where is the fear, Reggie? Where do we crack that fear, or whatever it is? How do we find out what the root cause is as to why folks won't come together? Is it because everybody wants to be the Indian and nobody, the chief, nobody wants to be the Indian? What is it?
it's indoctrination. It's a mental block. It's mindsets. It's what we've been conditioned to do. And it's a wake up call for us that 2025, and I've been prophesying this over my life, and I'm going to say this over the airways today, is that 2025 is full of gifts and surprises, positively. Surprises of being able to discover. And so I think that over the years, our history have shown us that, history repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening right before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
In order to stop that, uh, as they say, each one reach one, teach one. We have to do that. We have to start linking up, like we seen with all the marches with King, and taking some of the things our history has shown us with Malcolm X and the Black Panthers and Marcus Garvey, uh, the revolutionary things that we witness. It's at our fingertips. And I think that for us to say, you know what, they're killing us anyway. Like I said, you got to open your mouth. You're going to have to speak up and say something anyway. We might as well say, you know what, let's not operate in the spirit of fear, because God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. So we operate in that spirit of having a sound mind and love. We'll be empowered collectively. And I think that inspiration and being able to say, you know what, I can get behind that. right? There's integrity there, there's character there, there's truth there, there's honesty there, there's transparency there. That's what we need in leadership. And if we can say, I don't have to discredit nobody, I don't have to pull up somebody's past and say, see, this is what they used to be like. I don't have to pull the rug from underneath your feet. I don't have to stab you in your back and talk behind closed doors about you. Let's just say, let's finally say, let's operate in truth, honesty, transparency, and see where that takes us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been let down too many times. We've been promised some things by certain individuals and organizations that we're going to come through, we're going to do this and do that. And all we have is our word. But if your word and your name is mud, you have no traction.
Right.
So I think it's finally about, for me, I'm putting my mouth where, what they say, my word, where my mouth is, but just saying, I really want to help. I really want to help our families. I see a future where we can all eat, right? Getting with Thomas Jackson and being able to find land and building our own co-op stores and being able to feed our community, knowing that we got these food deserts and just all the dilapidated homes and things like that. If we invest in us, I heard this thing that was said that Superman isn't coming. And I
Mm-hmm.
say behind that, well, why is Superman not coming? And I said, we have too much kryptonite,
Oh,
right? So
yeah.
then the question is, what is the color of kryptonite? It's green. So what is green that we have in our hand? The kryptonite is money,
Mm-hmm.
it's land.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't know how to use the kryptonite, Superman knows that we have kryptonite. Superman understands that kryptonite takes his power away. But if we don't understand how to use the kryptonite, then we are really, really 8 steps behind.
And that is how we are wasting our resources. We are not using our resources properly. Auntie Chris made a absolute truth of a statement. She says, it is time to depend on us and put in the work as a community. She's
Absolutely.
absolutely right. Keith, with your question, what is the end? Let's see here. You said, what's the absolute vision? I think he kind of gave way to what the absolute vision is. It's collaboration. It's
It's
getting
collaboration and
over
partnership.
and collaboration and partnership, Keith. I think, and because right now we don't we have it, but it's fractionated. You see what I'm saying? It's fractionated. We're double dipping in so many. A lot of the nonprofits are doing some of the same work. We all do the same work, but wouldn't you agree that if we had numbers together, numbers make power.
Yeah,
You
we have more
know,
impact
for
and better
sure.
outcomes, right?
Yeah. Uh huh.
Uh, Now that the pool of funds is smaller, the jar is smaller, and everybody's hand is in the jar, and we have our hands on the same monies, and we can't pull our hand out because we all trying to pull it out at the same time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm letting my hand go, and I'm gonna pull my hand out, right?
Yeah.
And
So
I just want to say that it is about true collaboration and partnerships to how we do this, and it's with reaching across different segments, meaning the faith-based, meaning the entrepreneurs, meaning the nonprofits, the for-profits, the small businessman, the hustler, those who have been marginalized because they're a felon.
mm-hmm.
Everybody has something to give. It's a jigsaw puzzle, whether it's 1,000, 5,000 pieces. Everybody has a piece to this thing. It's not the
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Williams show, not at
Right.
all. But
Right.
my piece that I bring to the table, I want to be able to say, who's the right fit to my piece, who's the right fit to your piece, and we putting these pieces together, right?
Sure.
Whether you have social media
Yeah.
professionals, whether you have those who are in the nonprofit grant writing that can write a grant with their eyes closed, and can spit that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
those who understand the policies and laws and all these different things. It's just all these different mechanisms and pieces of this Rubik's Cube, if you will,
Sure. Yeah.
that we come together as a community, as a village, as a family.
That's my belief. That is my belief because I grew up in the time where the neighborhood was really, the village. It was the neighbors 2 blocks down knew who the kids were. They watched the kids go to school in the morning, and they ushered them back home. The clowning in the streets did not happen. When the street lights came on, the neighbors knew that you were supposed to be home. We'd run in and out of each other's homes eating popsicles and, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it was a safe time.
Yeah.
You go to the community swimming pools. I really do believe we need to get back to that. I would like to see more. I would want to see us engage our neighbors more because you know what, Reggie? I talked to a gang leader not some years ago, and he said we don't know each other. We don't even know our neighbors who live right next door. So when something pops off in the neighborhood and somebody ends up unalived, who cares? We didn't know them anyway. And sometimes we say some of that is absolutely planned to be that way because the schools aren't kids were all bust out and sent different places, so they don't play together in the streets anymore. You
Well,
know,
I would say I didn't know Kamani,
hmm
but I was affected.
absolutely.
I didn't know her from another child. I was like, she looked familiar. I didn't know her at all. But you
Sure.
know what? My heart has been rent, and I've had sleepless nights. I've
Mhm.
cried.
The nation has cried with you. I'm telling you, everyone is ailing over this child and her situation. You're emotional, so take a moment. I agree with you. I agree with you. It is a horrid situation for a child that has slipped through, the cracks of unfortunate institutional procedure. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, this has really hurt Toledo
Mhm.
uh, to the core. I mean, this dagger has driven to the core of everybody in this community.
Mhm.
And then to see the young man being drugged and now he's gone.
Mhm.
Um, and then just countless shootings or just things that's just happening unbeknownst to us, with
Mhm.
our young people that's going to school, that's not
Mhm.
being fed, not clothed properly, not watched after. There's just a lot of things that are happening right in our face, right?
Sure.
And we fear the devil of the word of God, and we read that Bible, we be, but the devil is in our house, looking at us in our face, and we don't even know it sometimes. And or we do recognize it and we shut her down, we back up. And so it's an all call to we got to go back to our closets, meaning that we got to seek the Most High and pray and seek His face, right? I don't understand that everybody's not a believer and everybody comes from different walks and things like that. I get that. I understand that. But whatever that thing is that you go to tap in to where you draw your strength from, we need everybody to be on one accord where our energy is matching,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Meaning that when we come out our address, out the front door, back door, side door, whatever that may be,
Mhm.
uh, when you see something, say something, do something. Not on my watch, not on my block, not in my face. We are scared,
Mhm.
right? We are living in perilous times. But when are
Mhm.
we going to say enough is enough? I'm not going to be walking around on eggshells. I'm not going to turn blind eye to what I just seen. I'm not going to speak up when I see some things or being said to youth, to a woman, to a young man. Or when are we going to just say, you know what? I got to stand for something. to help
Too,
somebody feel
too,
like somebody care.
sure. Too many people absolutely stand for nothing except for themselves. Chris made a very important statement. Our children are on the battlefield with little to no protection. She is absolutely correct. Little to no
Mhm.
protection. And I hate to say that because the situation with Kamani is one of these things that it made national news. But as you said, we this has been happening in Toledo. We are a gateway for our children to to disappear. We have had many children disappear in Toledo, or end up like her.
Yeah,
It's a sad thing, and it's like, okay, we're not gonna have the answers tonight. We already know that, but I wanted to get your
absolutely not. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
wanted to get your take, and maybe some of the folks in the audience. This show is broadcast on YouTube, Instagram, Roku, Facebook, and it's okay to comment, you guys, and it's okay to put your grief in your comments. We understand. Okay, you can do that. You can do that. Absolutely. You can put your anger down there. We absolutely understand it because everybody has a right to feel the way that they do. Um, but I do want to, do we were talking about nonprofits, and I want to definitely get back to you, Reggie, because I want to talk about what's next on the horizon for you. You have a new chapter in your life that you've started, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about what's next on for as much as you can tell, because I know a lot of stuff is still in the works and still kind of somewhat private and under wraps until things get released. Where's your vision? What is your vision for the Friendly Center, and how do you plan on pursuing that vision?
So the Friendly Center is a gold mine, in my opinion. Right? I think it has so much potential. It has a lot to offer our community. Seeing what's happening in the Fastula neighborhood, meaning that there's a lot of construction going on amongst the riverfront.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to have some spillage, if you will, to come over this side of Summit to Superior and to Locust and to Mulberry and to Magnolia, all these other, the neighborhood essentially is one position that I'm willing to take to say, hey, we need to identify how can we as entrepreneurs, business owners, those who are taking up real estate. Now that you're a neighbor, right? Not because you may live somewhere else, but because you do business down here. We need you to be mindful of the business that is just a few blocks over.
Sure.
And so I think that one, establishing relationships as I'm coming in on the scene, just trying to understand the lay of the land, operating on the north, as they say, the north,
The
NORF,
North.
the north. Uh, and I'm coming from the Junction community. I live in the Inglewood district, and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm coming from across the way. And so now that I'm there, I'm seeing some things that I've just never paid attention to because I didn't come over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that 74% of the residents that live in the North are way below the poverty guidelines, meaning that the average annual income of a household is $16,000.
Yep.
And that is something that is startling because they have nothing to give.
Mm-hmm.
And so our people, are in need of resources. They are in need of being arms wrapped around them, bringing hope, bringing light to our youth to have an outlet to be able to be youth. For our young adults to get education, GED classes, getting ahead classes. For instance, I'm a facilitator with the Lucas County Family Council,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the things is that the mental model of poverty, we understand that the driving force to putting out fires in the mental model of poverty is relationships,
Mm-hmm.
um, because our people are in survival mode. And so when
Sure.
they're in survival mode, everything is at will. Anything can happen at a drop of a dime, and they're in this juggling act of just trying to make things uh, meet, trying
Mm-hmm.
to survive. And
Mm-hmm.
so It's incumbent upon me as a community leader, as a man of color, a father, a husband, and just someone, a friend to our neighbors. Whether I'm driving past you, walking past you, sitting next to you, I'm your neighbor.
That's
And
right.
to show love to my neighbor and to say, how can I help? To open our mouth and speak up and say, you know what, I hope you have a fantastic day. You
Hmm.
look beautiful, or you're handsome. And not in a derogatory, or not even trying to, trying to holler. It's just saying, I'm just trying to be a nice human being,
Right.
because we suffered so much every day to where
Hmm.
that's why I smile, right? When
Hmm.
was the last time you see somebody genuinely smile and say, you know what, you have a fantastic day? That may
Hmm.
bring somebody to say, you know what, uh, I don't want to unalive myself, right? You never know what a person may be 1 foot on the banana peel of giving up.
That's right.
And you just saying an encouraging word, shaking of the hand, or just saying something positively to an
Sure.
individual that can
Yeah.
bring life to
I'm going
them.
I'm going to testify on that today because that happened. It's happened to me multiple times in my lifetime when someone has stopped me and said, "Would you pray with me?" But I did have that happen today, where someone said that they were on the edge of giving up, within the next 5-10 minutes. And you basically have to let people know that their life is important. Take the
Absolutely.
thing is to stop and take note, folks. If somebody walks up to you and they say something, they're trying to get attention. They're hollering for help, is what they're doing. They're
Absolutely.
asking for help. And if you brush it off or you just walk by, you'll be okay. Suck it up. Blah, blah. That's not what you want to say, right? If you're a person of belief, you can stop and say a prayer with them. You can tell them how much their life is worth, how much, if they had the gump to come to you and say something like that, they obviously value your opinion, and so give them something positive, right? We have
Yes.
to pay attention when these instances get into your face. Do you ignore it, or do you give it the attention that it needs? And I think that's part of the problem, that we wrapped up in social media and all this nonsense in the world, that we have forgotten about our obligation to our fellow man. We've
Hmm.
forgotten our obligation to our women and our children, to just, to put your arms around them every now and then because you're scared or what. Listen, stop. Slow
Yeah.
down and just stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, in this new venture, the Friendly Center, we just getting back to the programs.
Sure.
We have our food distribution every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it was a slogan I used at the Doug, come get that bag, right? So I changed it up a little bit, come get that friendly bag.
Come get
And
that
so,
friendly bag.
yeah, come get that friendly bag. And it is friendly. It's going to help you get through the week, and it's going to
Hmm.
allow you to be able to serve the purpose of what the bag is meant for. And
Hmm.
so just trying to fine tune that, reestablish that, put the word out there as far as individuals that are in need. Come to the Friendly Center every Tuesday from 10 to 12:45 p.m. And then from on Thursdays from 3 to 5:45 p.m. You can come get your friendly bag. We just ask that you bring an ID and just come as you are. I get
Hmm.
my friendly bag. Hey, ain't no shame here.
That's
It
right.
is what it is, right? And so
Hmm.
so I just let people know that I'm in need too. Yeah, I
That's
work,
right.
but I still in need.
We all
And
are, because you know what? Groceries are tight nowadays. So
groceries, eggs is high.
groceries are,
I'm thinking about
that's
getting a
right.
couple chickens.
That's right. So, all my friends who are listening, all my viewers who are listening, Reggie is telling you to come get your friendly bag.
Come
Okay?
get that friendly
Don't be,
bag.
listen, we're here as neighbors to help each other. And here's an opportunity: if you run a little short at the end of the month or the beginning of the
That's right.
month or just weekly, you have an opportunity to come get a friendly bag to carry you over to the next week. So, don't,
Yeah,
please spread the word. Make sure that if you see a neighbor in need, or if you need some help yourself, get over to the friendly
yeah.
center.
And
Let's tell
don't
that
let
address
pride.
again. Let's tell the address again, Reggie.
Yeah, the address is 1334 North Superior Street. If you get to Superior and Magnolia, we are at the corner, but you'll see the house, you'll see our logo, which you see up at my right-hand corner of this live. You'll see that on the building, and we absolutely want you to come in and don't let pride get in the way. Please, please, please hear me. You may need something, you never know what that blessing is in that bag, and it could be an
Right.
answer to helping you serve food on the table for your children, for yourself as an individual, or
Mhm.
for someone who's incapacitated that cannot get out. And so
Right.
we endeavor to touch lives through food, and then also just inspiring people to know that we're here for you.
For sure. Let's talk
um,
about the volunteer program if folks want to come over and help
yeah.
out.
Absolutely. So, and this is how this came about. I was giving an individual a tour of the space, and I'm sitting on the stage in the gym, and the Most High God says to me, FOF. And I sat there, I crossed my arms, and I was just like, And it hit me, Friends of Friendly. And so, Friends of Friendly is going to be our volunteer program. We want you to sign up, get engaged, get involved as we move forward. Spring is upon us, is here. And so, a part of our spring cleaning is we want to get the rec center cleaned out. We need everybody's attention to help us, really. We have some spaces, it's just been sitting dormant for quite some time, and we just need to bleach it down, sanitize it, throw some stuff away that's obsolete, things that is just old. So you say out with the old, in with the new.
Mm-hmm.
We plan on getting a dumpster, and we just want to have a good time. I'm looking at having a DJ, getting some burgers and dogs, and some soft drinks to where we can appreciate our Friends are Friendly. Friends are Friendly are our organizational partners. Friends are Friendly are our neighbors who are directly across the street. Friends are Friendly are those who potentially want to collaborate with the Friendly Center. Friends are Friendly are our board members. Friends are Friendly are business owners. And Friends are Friendly are youth that need community service hours, so that when they apply for college, they have those hours, right?
That's
And so
right.
we ask that you be a part of that. Please, 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 with all due respect, any amount of time, whether it's an hour, a half hour, we appreciate that. We really would. And so, yeah, go ahead.
So we have a cleaning project coming up. So we're asking the FOF folks to show up, and that is FOF.
Yeah,
Friends are
don't.
friendly. Can keep it clean. Okay, FOF. Lots of programming coming for the kids and the community. So for those of you who go way back in Toledo, you remember what the Friendly Center once was, and the historic Vistula board and its members are trying to get that back again because there are lots and lots of kids in that neighborhood who need after school programs, who need feeding, who need after school and during the day feed, and that has been continuing just on a smaller scale. So,
Yes.
so for those of you who have followed Reggie all these years, you supported him in his previous endeavor. Let's follow him over here to the Friendly Center. Come get your bag,
Come get that
and
bag.
let's help lift this man up again because he has done for the community. And he's decided to stay doing what he's doing for the community. He has done a lot for this community. Reggie, we give you your flowers today and every day because what you have done, and your wife, because I say behind a good man is a better woman.
Woo!
Because that woman has
That woman.
sacrificed.
Yes, she has. Yes,
She
she
has
has.
sacrificed and put up with a whole lot to help
Whole
you
lot.
stand on your feet. So we're going to give her her accolades today as well. So,
Absolutely.
we want to keep that going. So, any final shout out you want to give out? We're at the 7 o'clock hour right now. It does not seem like an hour was long enough for
I
us. Go ahead
know,
and give your
really. Yeah.
accolade. Go ahead and give out your shout outs.
So first of all, I'd like to shout out my wife, Winona Pryor Williams, who has stuck with me through the thick and the thin. Let me tell you, you talking about a good woman that hold a good man down, like you said. I have put a lot on her plate, meaning that I've come home to whereas I've missed engagements because I'm working in community. I've been in the doghouse many times because I've been committed to community. But that's what I've learned. So moving forward, I got balance. I understand that now. So I got to learn how to say no.
Uh-huh.
Learn how to, say, you know what, I gotta take my boo, my babe, my love, my wife, my everything. I gotta spend some time, right? So I've learned that balance. So I appreciate being able to go through that experience, and I can speak to that to the T. Because ministry is something that is different, right? It
Mhm.
calls you when it's uncomfortable. It calls you when it's not appropriate. It calls you, meaning when I say appropriate, meaning time wise, or it's inconvenience. And so sometimes you just have to show up. And so I appreciate that. So my wife, first and foremost, to my family, my daughter who lives in Cleveland, my son, who is here, who is now 16. They witnessed a lot of the things that I went through, and in my extended family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To those who prayed for me, those who are my ride or die, my squad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those who've been watching me over the years and supported through Facebook Live and or whatever it may have been, whether it was a donation, whether it was a heart or a like or a comment. I appreciate you. Please understand. You just don't understand doing this work just to get a response, to know that people are supporting you and people are uplifting you in prayer, or just
Mhm.
saying you're doing a great job. As I go through the grocery store at Kroger's, or if I'm in the mall or at the gas station, shout me out. Hey, Reggie, I see you. It goes a long way. It goes a long way. And then to our youth, I appreciate all the lessons that you have taught me. I appreciate the battles that we went through, to whereas you wasn't moving and budging and you were staunch in your spot, and I kept putting that pressure on y'all. I appreciate y'all that y'all allowed to take time to listen to me. And so now some of you all are adults, have your own children, and now I have your children. And so just thank you for the opportunity to just serve and to be able to do what I do best, is just love our people.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Reggie. Thank you for your service. Your service is appreciated by us, but you obviously know that you have a bigger reward for what you do, obviously. And the community wouldn't be the same without you, literally. So we're wishing you much success in your new endeavor at the Friendly Center. As you know, I'm going to be there supporting you. I might even come over and get my friendly bag.
Get that friendly back.
Yeah, get that friendly bag. More importantly, I want to say, what you do is not easy. And sometimes people look at a man like you that could have taken on any type of occupational work he wanted to, and he is serving the community.
Hmm.
Sometimes with no pay, as we know
Yeah.
from the past,
Yes.
sometimes with very little pay, and sometimes, you're
Absolutely.
putting, your family's income on the line as well. So we thank
Absolutely.
you for that. We thank you for that and wish you nothing but success from here on out. Thank you so very much,
Thank you
Reggie.
so much. Thanks for having me on your show. I
Yeah,
look for many more opportunities, but not only that, but to continue to support
sure.
you and your endeavors and different things that are coming up this summer.
That's right. That's right. We got programs coming over there, and I'm gonna do. You know me from Glass City Talent. Y'all know how I do things, and so we're gonna throw some pretty big events over there at the Friendly Center. Looking forward to it so very very much. At this time, I want to thank everybody on Facebook, Instagram, Roku, and YouTube for joining my channel as you do every week. I appreciate each and every one of you for supporting me at Toledo to the World with DebraSue. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and for supporting. I'm very appreciative myself. So thank all of you for that. Make sure you get back over here next Thursday. We're gonna have another guest on next Thursday that I think you'll all find some interest in. Make sure you join me, okay? In the meantime, be safe. Pray for our kids. Pray for our
Yes.
neighbors. Pray for our world. And hopefully, if next week brings us to this table again, we'll be here and we'll have another great discussion. Thank you, Reggie. Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend on
Thank
purpose.
you.
Okay, bye bye.